What's up everyone, Dimitri here. I've got a Tracy McGrady shooting breakdown for you here in this one. I went through a bunch of T-Mac shooting highlights, and I want to show you some of the things I noticed. Some things he does well, some of the keys to his shooting success, and a couple moves he used to set up his shots. These are some of the things that made T-Mac, T-Mac. Alright, let's dive in. One of the first things I noticed with McGrady's jumper is how high he jumps and how long he's able to hang in the air. We all know T-Mac had crazy hang time when finishing at the rim, but it translated over to his jumper too. His elevation and hang time made his shot almost impossible to block. His high set point contributed to that too. He'd bring the ball up above his head and back behind his head. The other thing his high elevation and hang time helped with was that it allowed him to square up in midair. So T-Mac could start his jumper facing any direction, rise up, hang, and rotate until he was square, and then release. Look at where he's facing on this one. Look at his feet. Elevate, rotate towards the basket, square up, and fire. Can't talk about Tracy McGrady without mentioning his pull-up. I love that split feet look. That's that signature T-Mac look right there. T-Mac's pull-up was lethal, and he could hit them going in either direction. And from anywhere on the court. A lot of them were tough, long twos. T-Mac was also really good at the flat-footed pull-up. He could just rise up without taking another step. And he'd adjust his lift path on these too. He'd raise the ball up the right side of his body, away from his defender. T-Mac also had an elite turnaround, and it all started with his elite footwork, and again, his jumping ability and hang time. Driving right, he gets low and takes a hard step with his left foot to sell it like he's going to continue driving. After planning on that left, he turns around over his right shoulder and fades, hanging in the air until he's square and then releasing. T-Mac could turn around over his right shoulder, and turning around over his left shoulder was no problem either. He'd turn around immediately off the catch, catching his defender off guard. And he'd also throw in the dream shake or fake spin in one direction before turning around in the other direction. He'd split his feet to fake the spin baseline before turning back the other way. And also fake with his shoulder and his head to sell it like he's really spinning. Those are some of the shots T-Mac is really good at. Here are some of the moves he liked to use to get into those shots with. T-Mac had a really good hesitation move into his pull-up. He'd start by splitting his feet and cradling the ball. This made it look like he was about to start driving. See how the defender reacts? Watch the defender's right foot as T-Mac splits his feet. He takes a step back in anticipation of the drive. And that's all the room T-Mac needed to pull up and knock it down. Here's why that works. T-Mac did the same thing, splitting his feet and hesitating when he did drive to the basket. So as a defender, what do you do when T-Mac splits his feet like this? You're not sure whether he's going to actually continue driving or pull up. Another thing on this hesitation, T-Mac brings the ball out wide, away from his body. As a defender, you're not thinking he's going to shoot here. Besides hesitating into his pull-up, T-Mac used the crossover a lot. And he also had a great pump fake. He raised the ball high above his head on his pump fake, which really sold it. Getting his defender in the air, he'd take a dribble or two right by them and pull up. Alright, these are some of Tracy McGrady's go-to shots, go-to moves, and some of the keys and fundamentals that made him such a great shooter. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. T-Mac was one of my favorite players growing up, so I loved putting this one together. Let me know if there's any other old school players you want to see me break down. Besides that, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.